Wow. Thank you. Greetings. Boy. Greetings, my fellow human beings. Hold on. Boy, what a rough start, I tell you. Everything is broken down here today. Today's going to be the last day in this studio. Good evening, my friends, my family, and my enemies. We are live. This is Live Free or Die. I'm your host, Eli King. And if you're wondering what this show is all about, it's about independence and freedom and the Constitution. Learn and love your Constitution of the United States. If you're an immigrant of this great nation or an illegal alien, you're more than welcome to come to my country, as long as you learn the Constitution and you uphold it. I gotta thank 2 police officers today down at the subway stop. I think they were there for me because I've never seen them there before. It was a sergeant, I won't say what stop, but it was a sergeant and an officer there at the table out, and they wanted to search my bag as I'm walking through immediately. You know, I came into the show today kind of groggy, but that event right there hyped me up. Immediately, sir, I'm like, keep your oath. It's like, what? You heard me, sir, with all due respect, keep your oath. You swore an oath to uphold my 4th Amendment, and you need to keep your oath. And the female sergeant just looked at me up and down and said, you know what, go ahead, sir. So, you know, I like to thank them. Even though they were violating other people's 4th Amendment, I like to thank them for not violating mine. Anyway, you know, today's show is going to be about arrest the banksters. Put it that way. It's time to arrest the banksters because that is who has taken over this country today. The banksters, okay? You know, a lot of people think I hate my government. I do not hate my government. I hate the tyrants and the criminal elements that have taken over my government. And it's time we take our constitutional republic back. Okay, Mr. Obama, won't you step up to the plate, all right? And uphold that oath you took. And, you know, like when you told Bush, you know, there were checks and balances and you need to follow the Constitution. Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about? All right, let's go to the clip.
Don't tell me words don't matter. You know, we've got a government designed by the founders so that there'd be checks and balances. You don't want a president who's too powerful, but this is part of the whole theory of George Bush, that he can make laws as he's going along. Believe me, the idea of doing things on my own is very tempting. We can't wait for Congress to do its job. So where they won't act, I will. And I've told my administration, we're going to look every single day to figure out what we can do without Congress. What can we do without them?
Well, you heard it right there. What can we do without him, he states. Boy, I tell you, you know, my goal really is to awaken minds and unlock minds, you see, and especially the democratic liberals, the democratic liberals who don't even know the true meaning of liberal. I want to turn you into a real liberal, a Thomas Jefferson, a George Washington, a freedom-loving, constitutional-obeying patriot. So I think they lost the gun battle. So watch out for more false flags, more these shootings, and just keep your eye out. Get your cameras out. All you citizen journalists out there, get in their face and record what the mainstream media will not show you. The truth. So watch out for the false flag attacks because we have won this gun control debate. Except for here in New York, I don't know what the hell's going on with Governor Cuomo, you scumbag. It is just insane. You got the banksters who want to take away the guns so that they can take over our society. You got to see what's going on here, people. Economic collapse is upon us, and the banksters want us disarmed so this way they can do what they want with us. All right. Now, I want to go to my next clip. Speaking of, this is a public service announcement from a constitutional sheriff in Wisconsin. And he states it's better to arm yourself than to call 911 because by the time he gets to your house, you'll probably be dead, hurt, who knows? Who knows? So he encourages all his citizens in his county to arm yourself, legally arm yourself. And according to the Constitution, legally arming yourself means you can just go out and buy a gun, okay? None of these registration laws like they have here in the city, which is so tyrannical. I cannot wait to get the hell out of this city. You have no idea. You have no idea. I'm thinking about getting my commercial driver's license just so I can move to a free state. Montana, Texas, Virginia, New Orleans, somewhere where a Second Amendment is respected. Wisconsin. Anyway, let's go to this sheriff. Maybe I'll move here. And here's a public service announcement from the sheriff here.
I'm Sheriff David Clark, and I want to talk to you about something personal. Your safety. It's no longer a spectator sport. I need you in the game. But are you ready? With officers laid off and furloughed, simply calling 911 and waiting is no longer your best option. You can beg for mercy from a violent criminal, hide under the bed, or you can fight back. But are you prepared? Consider taking a certified safety course in handling a firearm so you can defend yourself until we get there. You have a duty to protect yourself and your family. We're partners now. Can I count on you?
This safety message brought to you by the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office.
Well, there you have it right there. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office clearly states that they want you to arm yourself. Arm yourself, people. Arm yourself. If you're trying to call up and you're wondering why the number's not up yet, it's because my phone lines are down. This is going to be the last week in this studio temporarily. I'm moving to a new studio next week, probably with a new number. So I do apologize if you wanted to call up. My CG is not, everything is broken today, but my printer's broken. I'm working off the cuff here. I got new articles in front of me. I'm just running anything offline, everything offline, and it's just, it's something new. It's a new experience. All right, so back to the news, back to the Constitution, which you should uphold and obey. We're gonna go to this this next video clip, which this scumbag who works for the Obama administration clearly states that the only way to get out of this economic crisis is to kill the dollar. Kill the dollar. What have I been saying since last year, since I started doing this show? They're going to kill the dollar. This is their plan. That's the only way you can get out of a $16 trillion debt. You got to screw the Chinese, screw the Saudis, and just kill the dollar and create new currency, probably a digital currency, and then you'll have to get an RFID chip. And, you know, it's all crazy. So we need to restore the dollar, keep the dollar, throw out the banksters. We'll get to more of that later. But first, let's get to this clip of how they want to kill my dollar, scumbags.
You're in charge. You're in charge of this thing called the United States government/budget, and it gives you political and fiscal authority to do, quote unquote, the right thing.
Yeah.
Would you mark to market balance sheets today and create the economic downside that would follow, or would you put in place or attempt to put in place some kind of economic policies to get you to a better place down some theoretical road?
I mean, how do you solve a problem where you're spending 10% of, you're running a 10% fiscal deficit? You're not going to get growth in the absence of private sector credit demand. So the government's idea right now is we're going to export our way out of this. And when I asked a senior member of the Obama administration last week, how are we going to grow exports if we won't allow nominal wage deflation? And he says, we're just going to kill the dollar. And I said, okay, more you mean. So that's the I said, okay. More, you mean? And he says, we're just going to kill the dollar. And I said, okay. Now, nominal wage deflation. And he says, we're just going to kill the dollar. And I said, okay. And he says, we're just going to kill the dollar. And he says, we're just going to kill the dollar. And I said, okay. More, you mean? So that, I mean, that's the only answer. And
that's a dead answer.
It's a dead answer, but it.
Well, there you have it, right there. He says we're just gonna kill the dollar, and there you have it, boys and girls. That was a guy who worked with Obama, and they want to kill the dollar. They want to kill my dollar and give us this probably digital, fraudulent, new world order fiat. Like I said, like we got the little RFID chips in our credit cards. Now under Obamacare in March, actually, if you want to receive Obamacare, they're going to request you to put an RFID chip in your body. They claim to better track your medical records, but it's the mark of the beast, and they want to ultimately track you. And they're killing you with the vaccinations. They're killing you with the fluoride in the water. They're killing you with the chemical trails in the sky that you see the planes, those big chemtrails that expand out and sit up there for about a half hour or an hour and sprinkle down on you. Why do you think so many people have the flu this year? Oh boy, it feels great to be transmitting live worldwide on MNN.org to freedom-loving patriots who want to hear the real message, the real truth. Mainstream media, boy, they lie. They lie. All right, you want to know how to kick out the banksters? You want to know how to kick out the banksters? Well, we need to follow Iceland. We need to follow Iceland. What Iceland did is what we need to do. I'm going to go to this clip right now of the president of Iceland explaining how he kicked out the banksters, arrested them, and saved his economy. Now his economy is thriving. Unemployment is at an all-time low. And wake up, people. Let's go to the clip.
Well, so far, the only bit of hope that's come out of this Davos conference this year is from the Icelandic president, who's standing alongside me, Olafur Ragnar Grimsson. Mr. President, why are you such a beacon of hope? Why has Iceland survived where Europe has failed? What are you doing differently?
I think it surprises a lot of people that 4 years ago we were exhibit number one of a failed financial system. But now we are back on recovery with economic growth and very little unemployment. And I think the primary reason is that we were wise enough to realize this was also a fundamental social and political crisis. But above all, we didn't follow the traditional prevailing orthodoxies of the Western world in the last 30 years. We introduced currency controls, we let the banks fail, we provided support for the poor, we didn't introduce austerity measures of the scale you're seeing here in Europe. And the end result, 4 years later, is that Iceland is enjoying progress and recovery very different from the other European countries that suffered from the financial crisis.
But with your policy of letting the banks fail, would that have worked for the rest of Europe?
I think so, because as I'm often asked people, why do they consider the banks to be the holy churches of the modern economy? Why are private banks, not like airlines and telecommunication companies, allowed to go bankrupt if they have been conducted in an irresponsible way? The theory that you have to bail out banks is a theory about bankers enjoying for their own profit the success and then letting ordinary people bear the failure through taxes and austerity. And people in enlightened democracies are not going to accept that in the long run.
It wouldn't work for the UK with their reliance on the financial sector, though, would it?
Well, this is an interesting question, because one thing we learned after the collapse of the banks in Iceland, that the Icelandic banks, like the British and the Americans and other banks, have in fact become high-tech companies, hiring engineers, mathematicians, computer scientists. And when they failed, the innovative sectors of our economy, the IT sector, the high-tech sector, in fact blossomed and have been doing much better in the last 3 years than ever before. So the lesson of that is that if you want your economy to be competitive in the innovative sector of the 21st century, a strong financial sector that takes the talent from these sectors, even a successful financial sector, is in fact bad news if you want your economy to be competitive in the areas which really are the 21st century areas: innovation, technology, IT.
President Grimson, thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. Simple answer: arrest the banksters. We must arrest the banksters. We must, I tell you. Where is this other video? Oh boy. I had another video I wanted to show. Where is it? Here it is. We must arrest the banksters, and we must not allow them to continue to destroy our dollar. You see, because our dollar is all that's left, and the Chinese continue. They continue to take our assets, take our land, and build these Chinese cities to take our land, like I said, and they want to basically invade and run us and rule us. This is why they have all these naval games where they're practicing blowing up U.S. ships in the Chinese waters over there. Look it up. Look it up, please. China is an imminent threat to our society. And we must have a Second Amendment to defend ourselves from the invading communist Chinese. You know, there are good Chinese out there, the good Chinese who have fled from China, from Tiananmen Square, who are American citizens now and love the Second Amendment. You know, they say in China we didn't have the right to have a Second Amendment, but here I do. So I love this free land because I'm able to protect myself from a communist tyrant government. Oh, this is what this country is all about. We need to bring fundamental values back to our country, our city, the gun culture. We need to strengthen the positive gun culture, not the negative one. We need to know, like our forefathers said, we need to know and understand guns and teach our children from a very young age how to use guns and to teach them that guns are very dangerous. They are not a toy. They are for self-defense, to defend our country, our Constitution, our land that so many have spilt their blood and died for. All right, let's move on to this next story. We got a couple of NYPD scumbags who don't follow their oath. They're part of Mayor Bloomberg's detail, so don't take offense, all you regular officers out there, because you know to get on Mayor Bloomberg's team, you got to. Anyway, I went too far there. But yeah. Let's go to this scumbag who violated his oath out of his jurisdiction in Washington, D.C. Let's do it.
And you're an advocate for gun control? Mayor Bloomberg, how you doing? Jason, I go to Brooklyn. Okay, in the spirit of gun control, will you disarm your entire security team?
We'll get right back to you.
You'll get back to me? Would you like a sip of my soda? Mayor Bloomberg, why can you defend yourself but not the majority of Americans? I mean, look at the team of security you got. And you're an advocate for gun control? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. I'm counting. There are probably more.
So how you doing today?
I'm good.
How you doing? Officer Stockton, NYPD. Do you have ID on you, sir?
I'm credentialed for this.
May I see it, please? Thank you.
Sure.
Why don't we get over here and see the streets?
No. Do you even have jurisdiction?
Absolutely, yes, I do. Security jurisdiction, absolutely, sir.
I asked the question. There's nothing. What did I violate?
I'm not saying you did. I was asking if you have ID. That's all. If you have ID or credentials, I can
hold this.
Thank you very much. Photo ID, sir. Driver driver's license.
Well, I'm not going to give you my DC driver's license. Is this standard procedure for the press? It's standard procedure to be questioning members of the press.
Standard procedure ID, sir?
Yeah, it was issued by the conference we were just at.
Well, can I see ID? Photo ID that matches that name, please?
Sure thing.
Thank you, sir.
You going to write it down now?
Oh, no, sorry.
You're going to write it? You're going to write it? Okay. We good?
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. It's none of your business when my date of birth is. See, look. We're getting followed. Ask Bloomberg a question, we get followed.
All right, well, there you have it. Jason Matera was in D.C. questioning that scumbag tyrant mayor Bloomberg. Ooh, you make me sick. All right, anyway, this guy, Officer Stockton, he puts all the other officers to shame who uphold the Constitution. Here, Officer Stockton, do you remember your oath? Do you? Do you honestly remember your oath when you were in Madison Square Garden? Here, let me remind you, Officer Stockton. You remember that? You remember when you stood up there and you took your oath? Huh? I don't think so. You see, you got a lot of good officers out there, but obviously Officer Stockton is not one of them. Interrogating the press. That's his First Amendment, right to a free press. Did you not swear to uphold that? Huh? You remember this? Huh, Stockton? Huh? All right, calm down. Huh? And then you celebrated? Whee! Yay! I'm going to offend the Constitution, not defend it. Yes, I'm Officer Stockton. Yes, I'm a tyrant scumbag. Like I said, I love cops. Love good cops. A lot of good cops watch this show, and no offense to you guys. I just got to rip into the ones who violate the oath. Like that guy, Officer Stockton. First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of press, and then you're out of your jurisdiction asking for ID to a reporter. All right. Anyway, I'm glad I got that out of the way. Let's go to this next article because we are running out of time. This is from listmy5.com. Good self me. She writes about this great sheriff, Sheriff Ronald B. Bruce, on guns. And this guy is from Colorado. What county is he in? Let's see. Anyway, one of those counties in Colorado, and he encourages his citizens. He gives free gun classes for his citizens in his county because he encourages them to stay armed, and he will not violate any order or oath. You know what I mean. These are the kind of constitutional sheriffs we need. We need the sheriff has the power, people. The sheriff has the power, okay? Because all you police out there who want to take away law-abiding citizens' guns, you best believe that once they take away the law-abiding citizens' guns, they're coming for your guns. Look at the retired guys. I think they're coming for their guns right now. But, you know, so stand up for your oath. Tell Bloomberg and Cuomo to shove it up there, you know what, that they're full of crap. And I think we're out of time. Yes. So I thank everybody for watching. I thank everybody for listening. God bless America. God save the Constitution. And if you have received this transmission, then you are the resistance.
We have a show on MNN2 called No Free Will every Wednesday at 11 p.m. We will take calls every other week. Otherwise, we have a tape show to discuss why human beings have no free will. It's the biggest thing ever.
Oh, you did so well.
You were the ocean,
Thank
and
you
the rest
so
of
much.
us were the surfboards. You know, I mean, who could ever measure you?
I know, that's why when you're saying that, I'm like, right.
You know what I mean? But I've always taught, artistic kids, and it doesn't go with that, testing them. People have to know that the body needs constant care. You can't just smoke cigarettes and eat pasta all day long.
Right.
I'm always conscious of what I'm eating, and I'm always feeding my mind.
His gun. Illegal alien, you're more than welcome to come to my country, as long as you learn the Constitution and you uphold it. I gotta thank 2 police officers today, down at the subway stop. I think they were there for me because I've never seen them there before. It was a sergeant, I won't say what stop, but it was a sergeant and an officer there at the table out, and they wanted to search my bag as I'm walking through immediately. You know, I came into the show today kind of groggy, but that event right there hyped me up. Immediately, sir, I'm like, keep your oath. It's like, what? You heard me, sir, with all due respect. Ah, boy. Greetings, my fellow human beings. Hold on. Boy, what a rough start, I tell you. Everything is broken down here today. Today's going to be the last day in this studio. Good evening, my friends, my family, and my enemies. We are live. This is Live Free or Die. I'm your host, Eli King. And if you're wondering what this show is all about, it's about independence and freedom and the Constitution. Learn and love your Constitution of the United States if you're an immigrant of this great nation or an... Wow. Thank you. Has taken over this country today. The banksters, okay? A lot of people think I hate my government. I do not hate my government. I hate the tyrants and the criminal elements that have taken over my government. And it's time we take our constitutional republic back. Okay, Mr. Obama, won't you step up to the plate, all right? And uphold that oath you took. And, like when you told Bush, there were checks and balances and you need to follow the Constitution. Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about? Respect, keep your oath. You swore an oath to uphold my Fourth Amendment, and you need to keep your oath. And the female sergeant just looked at me up and down and said, you know what, go ahead, sir. So, you know, I like to thank them. Even though they were violating other people's Fourth Amendment, I like to thank them for not violating mine. Anyway, you know, today's show is going to be about arrest the banksters. Put it that way. It's time to arrest the banksters, because that is who